Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to another live stream. And today I'm joined with, guess who? My
Who you
co-host.
joined with? I'm like, we have an extra person today, Neil. You didn't tell me. What's going on, Neil? What's going on? Good morning to everybody watching. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened last night, Neil. We had GTC. I don't know if you also saw there were reports that OpenAI is gonna start using Google.
I did a video about it.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. So I don't know where you want to start. I mean, we have GitLab earnings as well. The stock is down after hours. I definitely covered that as well. But yeah, Neil, I'll let you start off.
We do first have a small announcement about this thing right here at the top of my head. So this stream and like a couple of other streams are sponsored by our new partner of the stream, FinChat. Most of you probably know what FinChat is. We've been using it on our channels for a while now. Stock research platform. We'll talk about them a bit more in the video, and I'll show you, of course, a couple of things from that platform that are, of course, very useful as we talk about Nvidia or maybe even GitLab's earnings report, because I'm pretty sure we can find a couple of things to show you from that platform as well. So first up, maybe a quick.
Well, first, quick good morning to Waldo. Good morning, Pedro, Josh, Michael, Theo, Santos, Luna. So good morning. And yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Neil. Good morning to you too. But now for real, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to us Europeans. Since Jensen is in Europe, I guess I'm now the correct time person.
I'm the captain now.
What do you want to say? Yeah, Google, that news or that report that came out. It's great for Google Cloud. Very good for Google Cloud. Am I surprised that Google stock wasn't up more yesterday? Probably not. But I know this should make sure that growth reaccelerates and continues to go up. It makes sense. I guess the new deal that they are talking about with Microsoft, OpenAI, Microsoft, the restructuring, let's say, of their partnership would maybe allow Microsoft to expand as well. Because we talked about the Stargate project, for example. Microsoft isn't even mentioned there, which was quite strange, since this is an OpenAI SoftBank type of deal and Oracle as well. So yeah, very bullish for Google for sure.
Yeah. So Neil, curious on your thoughts, and for those that are wondering, maybe I also I heard you did a video on it, Neil. I talked about it in my video as well. There were reports that OpenAI is going to start using Google Cloud for some of the AI infrastructure needs. Now, this was reported by Reuters, I believe, Neil. I think that's where it kind of originated from. Neil, there is a lot of competition, right, between a lot of people in this space, right? So you have kind of OpenAI, which I believe it's a competitor to obviously Gemini, right? You have Gemini, a competitor to OpenAI. You also have kind of like this OpenAI and this overall AI transformation that is probably trying to eat market share of the advertisement business or the search business, more like it. So in the search business. So it's also a very competitor to Google. Then you also have Microsoft being a heavy buyer, a heavy owner of OpenAI. Who owns their own cloud server infrastructure, but they are also a competitor to Google Cloud. These are just reports. Do you think because of all these tie-ins and workarounds with all these other companies, do you think we're ever going to know the truth? Do you think it's ever going to come out to the public? Because there's a lot of, I want to say, a lot of contracts that we typically don't hear about just because there's, some signatures about it that we can't talk about this contract whatsoever. So do you think we're ever going to hear the truth if this is actually happening? And also, do you see this as anybody kind of caving in? Do you see this like, did anybody, there's a lot of competition, like I mentioned. Did anybody cave in for this deal, or is everybody just really looking for the best of themselves?
I mean, will we find out? Probably. Eventually in someone's biography or whatever in a podcast. But does it matter now? Probably not. What matters is, of course, and this is something that we've talked about, right? When we talk about, okay, let's say search is under pressure, which right now still we don't see that happening, but okay, it can happen just like that. We've talked about the other sides of the Google business, right? Google Cloud. We said that Google Cloud can continue to grow much faster than the other business, which will become a larger chunk of the overall revenue, which also will become the larger chunk of their income. And so maybe this is also Google thinking about the future, saying, you know what, maybe there is a possibility that search will not grow anymore in the future. And so we might as well take something like, or someone like OpenAI, plug it into our Google Cloud, and then accelerate our growth there and make up that loss in the billions of dollars that Google Cloud will generate in the future. Makes sense to me, I guess. Is it them admitting that they are going to lose? No, because clearly Gemini is doing very, very well.
But I just want to kind of make sure that we are obviously, hey, Marian, we're going to talk about GTC in a bit. But I did expect this was to be, it was going to be much of the same, what we saw in USA, but it was going to be more European based. You were probably going to hear more about some European companies, about some European AI infrastructures. And I think that's what most people were excited for, any form of AI infrastructure being built in Europe. And I think we've seen some, so we'll discuss that in a bit. But back here, Neil, because I really find this topic pretty exciting with the Google and OpenAI report. The first thing when I thought about this, Neil, is the demand just that insane that OpenAI needs to find even more, right? Because OpenAI, like we talked about, already is working with Microsoft on cloud infrastructure. It's already working with CoreWeave. It's right before CoreWeave did the IPO, they announced kind of like this multi-billion dollar, multi-billion dollar deal. And then you have them also working with Oracle with the Stargate project. So those are, in my opinion, three behemoths, Neil, at least two and a half. Let's call CoreWeave the half or a quarter. But regardless, a lot of behemoths there in the AI infrastructures that, if this is true, I don't think it's them kind of leaving any of those other players, because all those other players, in my opinion, are smart plays. I think it's just, it showcases that demand is just too crazy that they need to go work with somebody else. And that other player might be Google. My other thoughts is, I wonder if they're going to start using, I got this question in my YouTube video, Neil. what type of chips are they going to use on Google Cloud? Are they going to use the TPUs, or are they going to use Nvidia's chips? Or we do know that OpenAI has really worked with AMD's chips, the MI300. Could this be the push that tells Google to say, hey, look, we're actually demanding maybe some AMD chips as well, and kind of pushes maybe Google to buy some AMD chips onto their cloud solution? So that's going to be another question. Which chip do they put pressure on Google Cloud to get their hands on?
I mean, I would think about TPUs, and that's why they went with Google as well, because the cost makes sense for OpenAI. Because right now, as we know, okay, they generate billions in revenue, but they're also burning quite a lot. And so maybe for them, it makes more sense to go with the best cost structure, which I still believe is going to be Google for the foreseeable future. And that's why. It's not to say that, of course, we know that Google uses Nvidia. I think they have the latest and Nvidia clusters there as well. So wouldn't surprise me that they went with Google Cloud because of the cost advantage that they can offer. Which is interesting, because that will allow OpenAI to grow even faster, which you could say that, oh, this can also hurt Google search even more. But now you will be in the middle and say, okay, OpenAI grows faster, Google Cloud will grow faster. And so it's, I guess, win-win, or maybe
Win-win, yeah.
something
Or
has to cancel out here.
Yeah, cancel out, loss, win.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, Neil, I think that's definitely enough here for Google. Before we move on to any topics, if anybody wants to share any thoughts here on Google or this OpenAI, Adia, I think, mentioned, yeah, felt more of the same. I think they were discussing when it just mentioned the AI market was still growing at rapid levels. Let's see, what else do we have? Google is anti-search. They have removed content from internet, not indexed it. Okay, I guess. All right, so let's move on here to want to jump into GTC, and I do want to say we are going to talk. I want to talk a little bit about GitLab.
You want to do GitLab first, so we get that part.
Okay, yeah. So actually, let me share screen really quick. I have my notes on my newsletter really quick. Let's see. Let me just look at my post really quick. But yeah, so GitLab, I think right now it is down. Last time I checked, it was down about
12.9%.
12%. Yeah, so the stock is sitting at about $42 right now. Overall, let's start off with what I believe is causing the stock to drop. So the first thing, Neil, is they did kind of talk about guidance being unchanged, even though they did kind of see some positive results this quarter. So they just reported Q1. So guidance for the full year still remains unchanged. And one of the main reasons, the company did note that customers are buying multiple tools to compare. So obviously right now in this AI market, there are a lot of tools that are helping kind of software developers create code and throughout the whole process. GitLab says that one of their favorite things about them is that they have almost like a full stack system, a complete toolbox. But they say that and they are implementing AI solutions into their platform with GitLab Duo. But right now with this AI landscape, we are seeing a lot of customers do multiple tools to see which is the one that best fits their need. So I think that kind of first scares off investors. It's like maybe obviously, if you're trying multiple tools, there's the probability that you're not going to get chosen. So that's probably the first thing. Is just competition here within the AI space. The second thing, Neil, that we did see was, like I mentioned, no change in guidance for the full year. A company also mentioned some form of weakness in macroeconomics, which can kind of prevent some of these orders. What they're actually seeing, Neil, is some of the orders that need to get signed usually get signed at the last moment, as kind of customers try to determine when they want this cash flow coming out and which quarter they want it. So that's impacting due to macroeconomic events. So I would say those were probably the two biggest factors: the competition and maybe kind of a slowdown in macroeconomics that kind of led competition that led guidance to kind of stay the same. Now, I want to say there are a lot of bullish things out of it. I think I don't know if here in FinChat we were able to, if it was updated already with the 10Q. I know we already might have some form of we already have the transcript here, right? So you can kind of read the transcript. We can kind of look at the AI summary here. So key financial highlights. I mean, you can look total revenue. Was up 27% year over year to 214 million. The other thing that I want to mention is, do they talk here about operating cash flow? Look at that, operating cash flow of 106 million. That's about a 49% operating cash flow to revenue. Right, strong margins for a software company. You like to have that positive. A small caveat here: some of the contracts that happened like a quarter ago, you're starting to see the free cash flow coming in, but regardless, you are seeing kind of that improvement. And overall, you see customers with annual recurring revenue of $100,000 up 26% year over year. You have strong dollar-based net retention of 122%, and you have kind of that total RPO grew 40% year over year. So regardless, I think earnings were great. They did kind of announce that their GitLab solutions are being offered in some of AWS's Amazon Q, which is kind of their AI agentic world. Neil, so you kind of like to see that expansion into some of the big cloud server providers. They did get obviously a FedRAMP authorization, which is important as it allows them to work with dedicated government contractors and with dedicated government agencies. So I didn't think revenues were that bad. I actually like it. It's already a good, decent position in my overall portfolio. I'm debating to adding more. Luckily for me, my cost basis is about 44. So I'm only like $2 off. But if I didn't have a position or a bigger position, I would be adding at these levels. I don't think there was anything that scared me. I think their dual platform for their AI push is doing really well. And I mean, we saw some positive free cash flow. We saw strong dollar net retention rate. One thing that they are doing right now, Neo, is a lot of kind of their AI solutions. They're kind of implementing it without much of a price change, just so their customers can really see how it can help out. And then eventually they might try to monetize that a little bit better. But I think it's like that same story we're seeing with a lot of software companies, that it's still a little bit iffy on how the monetization is truly going to work. Right? I mean, like you can say kind of AI Copilot for Microsoft. It was only like a few dollar increase in some of their regular subscription. I think that's what's going to happen here with GitLab. But first, they want to showcase that it's an actual useful tool. But with the retention rate, we see that with their customers growing. We see that with amazing free cash flow and cash flow from operating margins. I like the business. I still do. It is an IPO. It is, I think, less than $10 billion in market cap. Let me just look at the actual market cap right now. Yeah, it's about $8 billion. I don't think that's counting the current drop, so it's probably even closer to 7 billion. So these are one of those stocks that super small and get me excited for the growth, but obviously there is risk ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and even if we look here on the chart, we see dollar-based net retention coming down. Let me actually zoom in the last couple of quarters. It peaked here at 130. So of course, seeing it go down, you might say, oh, this is very bad. Okay, it's not the best, but still being at 122 is very good. I mean, over 100 is fine. Over 120 is still very, very good for them. You can actually see how they generate, like the biggest segments is, of course, coming from that subscription self-managed side of the business. And then the other one, the smaller part here, is the license one. But the subscription is the one that is growing faster. As you can clearly see, yes, again, growth is decelerating a little bit, but they've still managed to grow this by 28.6%. This goes up and to the right, has grown over the last, 2 years or so, at a compound annual growth rate of over 30%. So still a very fast growing company. You can even actually look at what Wall Street is expecting this company to do over the next couple of fiscal years, which we can look at right here. Still expecting quite a lot of growth from the company in fiscal 25, 32%. then 31% year-over-year growth, and then we are looking here at these are the upcoming quarters, 23% and 22%. For annually, this translates to let's see, this translates to the following. Fiscal 26, 24.1% year-over-year growth, then bottoming out here at 22%, and then a rebound of 25.1% year-over-year growth in fiscal 28. So despite growth coming down, this is a company that is still expected to grow above 20% year-over-year, which is still quite decent, I'd say. And of course, all of that is available for you on FinChat. New users will get 2 weeks of FinChat Pro for free. And then if you love it, you can always use our link down in the description and in the pinned comment after, of course, the stream is over.
Yeah, so, and you, one thing that I really did enjoy is last quarter for GitLab, they did kind of announce that the customer Anthropic was actually joining their platform. So I mean, this for me was a fun way and a great way to kind of get my exposure outside of the semiconductor industry, more into a software base. I do enjoy, obviously, the kind of the growth play. Neil, you know me, I'm a little bit more of a little risk taker here.
A gambler,
yeah, I'm a degenerate gambler here. But no, I mean, as we saw, right, Neil, great free cash flow. I mean, it has about $1.1 billion in cash at hand. Not much debt, if I recall correctly. And overall, the products are doing really well. So nothing to really worry me for this in the long term of things. It's one of those things that, again, even though it's near my cost basis, I actually wouldn't mind increasing my position on GitLab. So that's something that I'm pretty excited about.
Okay, so you are bullish despite the stock being bad.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think, like I mentioned, I didn't think there was anything worrisome. I mean, I always expected there to be competition in this space, especially with the AI evolution and AI movement innovation. And I also did expect maybe some form of noise, as we have heard from other software players, that kind of the macroeconomics does push a lot of these contracts to maybe go further into time before being completed.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know why some people are saying that there is an agreement that has been reached between the US and China, but
so it says our deal with China is done subject to final approval. Trump just posted on his Truth Social platform, but I'm pretty sure if you go to X really quick, Neil, you will be able to find someone posted. If not, let me just send it to you really quickly.
I see here on
you see it,
but that's only on the rare earth part I'm seeing.
Yeah, our deal with China is done subject to final approval with President Xi and me, and full magnets and any necessary rare earth will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So nothing there from chips in general, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe the overall market is going to be semiconductor market is going to be excited about this, right? Because we do know that a lot of the semiconductor products or the raw semiconductor chips go into China or that part of the world to become a finished good. And then they come to places like the United States. So I wouldn't be surprised if companies like Intel, like AMD, who are really dependent on the consumer space, kind of move on some of this news. But right now, pre-market, I see Intel not moving, AMD.
And that's the thing; nothing is moving.
Yeah, unless the algos haven't gotten it yet,
which I highly doubt. But yeah, that's why, like, when people were saying, "Oh, there's a deal," so I checked pre-market real quick, and I see nothing moves. I'm like, maybe they're trolling, maybe not, but yeah, okay, this is good. I guess it's a good first step. But I would say semi stocks, especially Intel yesterday, right? Intel was up 8% yesterday, was very strange. But a lot of the semi stocks have gone up more recently. Maybe anticipation that a deal might be reached and that they could start selling in China again. Maybe that's a possibility, I'd say.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I did see a lot of Twitter's talk about Intel kind of just moving up a lot yesterday. So I wonder how much was known or was expected with something like this happening pretty soon. But again, I guess we're gonna have to wait for maybe the final announcements. And who knows? Sometimes we only hear half the story here. Maybe we might see some pretty cool chip announcements or tech announcements happening there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of tech announcements, Jensen was in Paris, talked a lot. Good sales guy.
Oh wow!
It was very very long of a presentation. I did wanna go over because he did talk a little bit about quantum, like the flipperoo here of the quantum. The quantum is
love.
20 years away, 15 years away. Now it's not that far away. Because quantum stocks are up a little bit now, pre-market. But yeah, maybe let's have a listen here. He talks here a little bit.
To run 6G, Earth 2, our simulation environment for foundation models of weather and climate models. Kilometer square, incredibly high resolution. MONAI, our framework for medical imaging, incredibly popular. Parabricks, our solver for genomics analysis, incredibly successful. Q Quantum, Q2Q, I'll talk about in just a second, for quantum computing, and Q-Pi numeric, acceleration for NumPy and SciPy. As you could see, these are just a few of the examples of libraries. There are 400 others. Each one of them accelerates a domain of application. Each one of them opens up new opportunities. Well, one of the most exciting is CUDA-Q. CUDA-X is this suite of libraries, a library suite for accelerating applications and algorithms on top of CUDA. We now have CUDA-Q. CUDA-Q is for quantum computing, for classical quantum classical computing based on GPUs. We've been working on CUDA-Q now for several years, and today I can tell you there's an inflection point happening in quantum computing. As you know, the first physical qubit was demonstrated some nearly 30 years ago. An error correction algorithm was invented in 1995. And in 2023, almost 30 years later, the world's first logical qubit was demonstrated by Google. Now, since then, a couple of years later, the number of logical qubits, which is represented by a whole lot of physical qubits with error correction, the number of logical qubits are starting to grow. Well, just like Moore's Law would, I could totally expect 10 times more logical qubits every 5 years, 100 times more logical qubits every 10 years. Those logical qubits would become better error corrected, more robust, higher performance, more resilient, and of course, will continue to be scalable. Quantum computing is reaching an inflection point. We've been working with quantum computing companies all over the world in several different ways, but here in Europe, there's a large community. I saw Pascal last night. I saw Barcelona Supercomputing last night. It is clear now we're within reach of being able to apply quantum computing, quantum classical computing, in areas that can solve some interesting problems in the coming years. This is a really exciting time. And so we've been working with all of the supercomputing centers. It's very clear now that over the next several years, or at least the next generation of supercomputers, every single one of them will have a QPU assigned and QPU connected to GPUs. The QPU will do quantum computing, of course, and the GPUs would be used for pre-processing, for control, for error correction, which will be intensely computationally intensive, post-processing and such. Between the two architectures, just as we accelerated the CPU, now there's QPU working with the GPU to enable the next generation of computing. Well,
Yeah, pretty interesting here, Neil. I mean, I do see from the chat here that they're wondering if Jensen is kind of shifting from quantum computing technology, right, into the bullish sentiment here. And like you mentioned, right, Neil, just this past January during CES, you mentioned it was about a decade, maybe even more away. I wonder how true this is, or when it comes to a lot of these government places, they do kind of look at the next tech as well. So I wonder how much of a sales pitch this is look, I've been hearing a lot from my customers that they want to do something with quantum computing. So I want to let them know that my product or my system can actually be integrated really well with it. U.S. inflation rate is 0.1 in May from prior month, less than expected. So that plus China news.
That's plus
and the market isn't ripping just yet, Neil. What are futures up? No,
nothing.
Pretty much flat. Market's expecting all this already.
This is rigged. Everything's rigged.
Rigged. But yeah, so I wonder how much is it that just his customers have been talking more about quantum, and he's like, I don't want to lose these customers by making them think that if they choose our systems, it's like choosing away from quantum. But Nvidia has always created. I mean, he mentioned multiple years ago is when they started to announce that CUDA Q. We've seen the Hopper platform kind of gone, the classical computing interact with quantum. I wonder if just that part of the world is more interested in quantum right now, that he just wants to do that sales pitch. But in terms of products, I don't think we've actually seen anything. Outside of the tone, what Nvidia has done, I don't think has shifted. It has always developed in that platform. It has always worked with players in that platform. I think now it's just using it as a selling point to add more to this AI space.
I agree. I think, first of all, remember when he said what he said at the start of the year, and then all the quantum stocks went down. Let's be honest here. They could have gone down even more, right? Because right now they're all super overvalued, billions in market cap for companies that don't even generate revenue or barely generate any revenue, right? You have their price to sales ratios of 300 or 1,000 or something like that, which doesn't make any sense. Second of all, when I've heard, and I think I made a video, you made a video about that, and then we've probably had the same comments like, oh, Jensen is scared because quantum will destroy his GPU business. Jensen isn't scared. Jensen knows very well that CUDA Q in this case is what is going to enable all of these companies to actually make maybe a couple of dollars here and there in the future. And I'll even go even further. I think 90% of the quantum stocks that are hyped up right now will not be publicly traded 10 years from now. That's my prediction. And I've said it before, if you want exposure to quantum, you can go with Nvidia, you can go with IBM, you can go with Amazon, with Microsoft, with Alphabet, with Intel. They all have quantum divisions, quantum departments. Yeah. They will all make money from quantum in the future. And I rather bet my money on them than on the speculative names that right now live on PR releases. That's about it.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I agree. I think we're going to continue to see this moving on. And we're going to continue to hear more about quantum. I don't think any of us reject the theory of quantum computing. I don't think we're smart enough to reject it. We do see that it is an opportunity. Everybody's doing research on it for a reason. I think it's more just a question of X amount of stocks and how many can succeed in a market like this, right? Just it's a perfect example. EVs 2020, you had all these EV stocks doing amazing. You had all these meta stocks doing a very amazing, VR stocks. And while the technology, I think virtual reality and things like that will continue to progress, you're not going to have all the winners, right? And it takes time to build. I mean, a supply chain logistics is crucial. Nvidia, one of the main reasons Nvidia dominates the classical computing world, especially here in the AI market, is supply chain. The ability to be able to build something like this as quickly as possible and work all over the world with it is art within itself. And if you're just getting started, that art you need to learn through experience. But some other interesting things I did see. We did hear. Did we talk about it yesterday? Some of the supercomputers that came out from Europe, like Blue Lion. I don't know what we talked about.
We touched a little bit on the HPE one
and the Dell one. Okay.
And the Dell. And actually, I think Nebius also released a report talking about a specific supercomputer that's already pretty powerful and pretty up there.
Yeah. Neil, you shouldn't be doing videos with me.
Yeah, apparently. Don't degrade yourself by doing a joint video with this guy.
Neil.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry
God.
for tainting you.
Let me remove you really quick.
Yeah, so we did see, and Neil, I think we saw some pretty cool updates with Nebius.
Let me pull that up.
Stock hasn't really moved today with it. But we're seeing more sovereign AI in Europe, I believe. I forget what countries we'd see it, but did they announce a press release, Neil?
So here we have the most recent one. That's from today. So Nvidia. I see Nvidia on the right. So Nebius and Saturn Cloud launched first-in-class AI ML Ops cloud with support for Nvidia AI Enterprise, and the one before is Nebius delivers first Nvidia Blackwell general availability in Europe, brings Nvidia AI Enterprise to Nebius AI Cloud. Do they mention where? Let's see. And say in general in Europe, of course, we've had the announcement for the UK plan a day or two ago. But here, let's see if we have. I think it's just Europe in general. But I do know that Friday, I think it's Friday, Nebius CEO is speaking at Vivatech. So Vivatech, yeah. So we're probably going to hear more announcements and more details about that when he's going on stage. But right now, it seems like it's just saying here Europe in general. Let's see. Nebius Alliance. No real place. Wouldn't surprise me if it's somewhere again, Spain or France or something like that, because they're already in Finland. They're already in France as well. HQ in Amsterdam.
Or just expansions in general, right? Even in those places is also important, especially if you are seeing kind of this AI movement going on there, Neil.
No, for sure. For sure. I can actually pull up maybe this from the presentation. So this is Jensen basically saying European cloud service providers building AI infrastructure with NVIDIA. So we have Nebius right here. So there are a couple in France. Indeed, there's in UK, in Germany, a little bit in Italy, Spain as well, Poland. So I guess that's where the attention is going to go moving forward. Do you see any CoreWeave here? No, you do not. Exactly.
Scaleway, and if I don't know why, Neil, I feel like I've heard of Scaleway a lot, and Nscale. Nscale was just announced on, I think, yesterday, right? On the same thing with Nebius. I wonder if any of these are also public in that space. And this is, I think, Neil, this is the great thing about kind of watching these events. Is not only do you learn about NVIDIA, but you learn about everybody dealing with the AI space. Here we can learn about AI infrastructure in Europe pretty quickly. Right. So instead of kind of playing with it or trying to learn it, and here 10x growth projection, pan-European AI infrastructure. So this is a great for the AI space, right? I mean, you're getting this push of sovereign AI. So anybody who's producing chips, servers to that part of the world in Europe is most likely going to see a nice growth. So this is the exciting part. I'm pretty excited about this, Neil.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is great for Nvidia. This is great for companies like Nebius, probably Mistral as well. I think they announced something with Mistral, a French company. And I do also think that Macron is going to come um, later on today. So Nvidia, Jensen is going to talk with him and the Mistral guys. I think they're going to announce something. But yeah, again, European expansion is also something that we didn't talk before, right? The whole focus with Nvidia is like, oh, they've reached their peak, right? And then, oh, China, God forbid, China is lost. Then everything comes down. But no, what we have now is actually hundreds of billions of dollars coming from UAE, Saudi Arabia. We have here a plan of 10xing in
Mm-hmm.
Europe. So clearly, there still is a lot of growth ahead
Yeah,
for
they
Nvidia,
they
for AI growth, for Nebius
here.
if it's in Europe.
I'm looking, Neil. They did have this Germany AI factory announcement. So Nvidia is building the world's first industrial AI cloud for European manufacturers, based in Germany, powered by the DGX B200 and Pro servers, featuring 10,000 Nvidia Blackwell GPUs. So that one's pretty interesting. Then we also know that there's that supercomputer featuring about 24,000 Grace Hopper 200s. Yeah, so I wonder, Neil. One thing I don't know is, here in the United States, we are building dramatically data centers, but one of the big discussions is um, the bottleneck of of the power infrastructure or the power grid. How is it in? Not something I follow, but how is it in Europe as well? Obviously, I guess it depends on country. I mean, Europe is so many is individual countries, but I wonder how the like how much can it handle? Do you have plenty of room to build massive amount of AI sensors, or is it going to come up with that same bottleneck that we're seeing here in the United States?
Well, seeing how we have in a couple of countries unsuccessfully destroyed nuclear capacity, we are probably also going to have some issues. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago in Spain, they had like a power outage. Hack or no hack, I don't know. I didn't follow the story that closely, but I don't think we have enough energy. Plus, also with the Ukraine-Russia war, right, for the last couple of years, energy was very expensive, was going up. I believe Europe was even still buying gas from Russia, so that was also quite interesting. But no, I don't think there is any place that has enough
Mm-hmm.
energy. Prices go up, nuclear goes down. Although in France, I do think that they want to revive some nuclear plants, so I guess that's a good move. But no, we obviously need we obviously need way more energy, way more maybe power walls, mega packs from Tesla for sure. And yeah, I guess nuclear is the easiest answer, but for some reason nuclear has become very hated in the last couple of years. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but even in the US, things should be moving much faster, right? Everybody's been saying that we should be moving much faster, yet I don't see that happening just yet, which is a problem.
Yeah, it's people are saying, Christian, here Europe is the worst. We also hear from Marian, it's even worse in Europe with power. Look at Germany, we shut down 3 nuclear power plants. Just kind of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And Neil, yesterday on X, I actually saw pretty funny. I saw a post about what you just mentioned. Kind of like it's supposed to be better here in the United States, at least with some of the red tape bureaucracy happening. But I think it was Semi Analysis. Their Twitter account, they kind of posted how Micron, who since the Chips Act mentioned that they were gonna build some plants in New York, the plant still hasn't really started because of some of the red tapes in certain states. So unfortunately, it also depends on the state and so it sucks to see that like the Micron plant in New York has barely moved from what it wanted to. It's still just start there, nothing else.
Yeah, no, and that's my problem. And that's what I've been saying, right? Because we have all of these announcements of investments, but I would like to see you break ground. I would like to see you start actually building. I would like to see actually infrastructure projects starting up. Yes, of course, not all of them are still at zero, but with so many announcements, you would think that you would have seen something happen already. And yet, especially the most important part, which is still energy, that has yet to be moved one inch, which is a shame. And to come back to that CoreWeave question, is it just hype? It's not just hype, it's just overvalued. I'm not a CoreWeave hater. I just joke around because Jose has it and it has gone up quite a lot.
Yeah, I agree there, Neil. I think it's high, the valuation is hyped right now. The company has opportunities, but valuations right now don't give me a risk to reward ratio that I would like to enter into.
Yeah, I mean, this was a funny part from the presentation.
What do you mean fun? You watched the whole thing already, Neil?
Actually, I watched a lot of it. Yeah, on 2x if it actually wants to load. Okay, so this is the UK, right? You have a big ecosystem. You have a huge ecosystem here here on screen here for the UK. Then you have Germany, also pretty big ecosystem across the board, right? Developers, research. And then you have Italy, not that much, right? Startups, developers, whatever. Then you go back to France, again, quite a big ecosystem there as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess UK, France, Germany, maybe Spain as well is going to be a big focus. Italy, I guess they still need to work a bit more to expand their AI ecosystem, startup ecosystem. Yeah, the startup ecosystem in Europe as a whole is not that great because if I'm being honest, you're not that incentivized to start your own company, right? You start your own company, you have to cut through, I don't know how much red tape here. And then you're like, okay, what's the point, right? What's the point of me starting up a company? In Europe, if I'll have to start it when I'm deep red, investors probably don't want to back me. And so I'll be leaving to the United States. And there you have, I guess, an abundance of money on the sidelines. And people start their company there. And not in Europe, which is a shame because that's one of the main reasons also why Europe is so behind on everything. Because Europe regulates, US innovates, and I guess China replicates, copies, steal, whatever you want to say.
I think what is going to be though the strength of AI, at least for the European space, it's it doesn't even need to be a startup to really grab it, right? And I think that's why during this GTC keynote, you actually heard a lot more about two core products: robotics and automotive, because a lot of the automotive companies like right, your BMW, your Volkswagens, and very popular all around the world are there. So they did talk about kind of like BMW and all these other players using things like AI factories and Omniverse solutions. And then you have also a lot of the robotics plays that come out from that part of the world. So luckily for there, if to invest in AI, you don't just need startups, you can also just be a big player that needs to integrate it into your solutions. And yeah, this is something we saw in the USA GTC. So it's like he's doing a concert show. You're muted, Neil.
Yeah, no, most of it is just a repeat of what we've seen at GTC, even at CES, which, okay, makes sense because now you're in Europe and maybe Europe doesn't pay attention. I guess Europe needs to tune in. Actually, is this considered an Nvidia live stream? Because that means I would have to buy another share. Now you are muted.
Oh, now I'm muted. Thank you. The amateur hour here, Neo. Obviously, we got to say this is on the Nvidia live stream if it means you get an extra share.
Yeah, I guess so.
Shout out to E. James. Greetings from Norway. I've watched your lives in the Amazon in Peru and Mexico and Mexico too. Nice. We're all over the world, even though we're not. But
we are worldwide. Yeah, and Jensen took off his jacket.
Yeah, pretty wild. But yeah,
he wore a t-shirt.
Neil, I forgot to mention, it does seem like futures are moving a little bit right now. We do S&P is up about 0.4%. I'm looking at Finviz. NASDAQ is up about 0.5%. The Dow is up about a quarter. Russell is up about 1.1%. So it seems like maybe some high growth stocks might actually see some nice momentum. But yeah, NASDAQ up about 0.5%. Pretty excited now.
Yeah, much better. Much better. A delayed reaction. And hello.
I told you
finally
the
joined stream.
algos were sleeping tonight.
Tonight, this morning. But yeah, happy you finally joined the stream.
Oh, my apologies. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm
trying to look at the.
Martin, I agree. I don't know if Jensen wears a suit in a GTC event. Obviously, if it's a government event, a whole different thing. But a GTC event, I don't know how we feel about that.
Let's see if I can pull. Because Nvidia already has dropped their GTC Paris summary.
Yeah. I mean, talking a lot about different types of AI centers in Sweden, Italy, Spain, UK, Finland. And yeah, it seems like the Blackwell platform is moving pretty good. And we got some sales or some confirmations of the Vera Rubin, which I thought was pretty good with the blue line that we talked about yesterday and the other one that the Dell was making. I forget what it was called.
But no, wasn't it the same thing? Because it wasn't the exact same press release.
Yeah, so it was two supercomputers. It was the one was the Blue Lion. I forget by who is what it's going to be called, and the other one was going to be the I'm going to butcher this name, so be prepared. Dona supercomputer.
Down.
Yeah, and that one is that one was in California, Berkeley, California. The U.S. Department of Energy's next supercomputer will also run in Vera Rubin. So it seemed like it was two different ones, Neil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one in
Germany.
Germany was by HPE. The other one is, I think, US based. Berkeley, California, and it's US department. That one's by Dell Technologies.
Okay, makes sense. Are you still bullish on the local after the former Mercado Libre CFO left? I know you liked it a lot due to the former. Wait, what do you mean? The former CFO is now the CEO of the local. I don't think he left. Or you mean Mercado Libre's CFO left Mercado Libre?
Are you still bullish on the local after the former Melly CFO left? I know you liked it due to former.
I am still bullish on the local. Very bullish. But the former Mercado Libre CFO left. So he is the CEO.
How I'm reading this question, and I know nothing about Melly or the local, is it seems like the local had a former Melly manager in the local's management. And now that manager that was from Indie Local, from Melly, left the local.
Yeah, but that guy from Melly is the CEO of the local.
Oh, okay.
So unless I'm missing something here, but I don't think he left the CEO left the company. I know Melly had some management change and will have some management change. But the local did not. The local CFO, I think the local CFO did change because I think he got sick. Yeah, I think the local CFO. Yeah, CFO transitioned due to health reasons. So that's why. But no, I'm still very bullish on the local fast-growing company, profitable, virtually no debt, less than $3 billion in market cap, I think. I like it.
Neil, yesterday we did get O3 Pro here in the United States. I don't know what O3 or what O model you guys are in Europe.
I don't know.
But O3
Couldn't
Pro,
care less. I am Gemini all the way.
you're Gemini all the way. So I mean, I thought it's pretty interesting to see that. I'm liking it. I'm trying it out, but it takes forever. It's thinking forever. So again, it kind of just goes with that overall inference mentality that we're in right now. There was also yesterday Miso. It's a famous bank.
Mizuho.
Is it okay? Yes, has a tech conference. Had a tech conference, and I didn't find the actual events, but Sam Altman talked about it, and there was a X account that kind of watched it and took notes about it. And one of the first things that they mentioned was, at this moment, even with Stargate and all the other types of AI infrastructure that they're working with, it's still a capacity constraint space. That's the biggest issue with the AI market. So he mentions that Stargate is already about 10% built. And hopefully we might get some update on it with Oracle tonight. I think Oracle reports tonight. So I wonder if we finally get some RPOs there with the Stargate initiative.
Okay, no, that's a good data points to have. So, yeah, exactly. This is what I understood. So yeah, the CFO of the local stepped down because of health reasons. I hope he gets better very soon, but that doesn't change my view on the local at all. Do you know a company called Celestica?
I have not, Neil. I have not. Maybe I have, but not that I remember right now. Celestica.
So these are the CPI numbers, so month over month, 0.1 versus 0.2 expected. Core up 0.1 versus 0.3 expected. Year over year, 2.4 versus 2.4 expected, so in line. And the core is actually better as well, 2.8 versus 2.9. So not bad at all, I'd say. Maybe I'll pull up Celestica real quick. It's a Canadian company apparently, but
yeah, I stopped watching after that. I read that, and
my computer shut down actually.
Did it really?
No.
Oh, you're a funny guy, Neil. You're a funny guy.
Thank you. So it's a hardware platform and supply chain solutions in North America. It provides in North America, Europe, and Asia. It operates through two segments: advanced technology solutions and connectivity cloud solutions. I mean, over the past 3 years, this thing is up 10x. So clearly, they're doing something
nice.
Yeah, market cap, let's call it 14 billion. Margins wise, not a high margin business, as we can see right here. PE
revenue 3-year compounded annual growth rate is about 20%, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, and the forward one, 2 years out, 15 CAGR. EPS growing faster than that. Interesting.
PE is about 25.
Yeah, let's see what we can. So I mean, we can see that revenue is not that stable. It did grow fast, then slow, then fast, and slow again last 12 months. So not that stable, I'd say. Although in the last, what is it? Yeah, it has a nice jump twice, but I don't know if it's that sustainable. Let's see what the market is showing us here. Maybe let's look at free cash flow real quick, because he asks so nicely, so we have to look at that. Free cash flow is expected to grow fast, like say low 20s over the next couple of fiscal years. And revenue, yeah, I mean, it's a good trend, I'd say. Good trend. 13, then 17. So it's always like a year of up and down. So, but as long as it keeps going up, I guess I guess that's fine. So yeah, interesting company to look at. Maybe we'll dive in a bit deeper another time. But yeah, interesting.
Let's see what else we got here, Neil. We got a question. Should I keep my 45 Nebius stocks? I don't know.
45 shares or $45? It's at 52.
Or $45.
It's at 52.
Neil, you're still holding, right? I mean, obviously, sub, we don't know your portfolio at all or anything. But Neil, what are you looking for Nebius? Is this like a long-term hold of the AI infrastructure market? Because I know sometimes you might do kind of, I feel like you've done it before, like short-term investment plays. Which one would you consider this into right now?
Long-term.
Long-term,
I think this could be another multi-bagger for sure. Okay. But I would love it to drop a bit. Previously I said, and I know this happened actually not that long ago, but I said low 30s, I'd add more. Now we're in the low 50s. So if we go low 40s, I'll probably start adding more if that happens. But again, they have so much momentum, and it's not just hyped up momentum based on nothing. It's momentum because they announce new infrastructure build outs. Maybe they announce even more in the next couple of days. So it makes sense. Like the markets are forward looking. So if the market suddenly sees, they're going to be building out in the UK, maybe they're going to build out in other European countries, then growth should accelerate.
And Neil, I think one of the things that gets said about Nebius versus the CoreWeave argument is that Nebius has a very clean balance sheet, I believe, right? I don't think where CoreWeave is very heavily debted. One of the reasons people say that CoreWeave's debt is so heavy is because it's expanding dramatically. Would it turn you off if you start to see a similar trend happening with Nebius? Where right now, obviously, you kind of have very clean, but if they see these massive expansions happening all over, how off would it put you if you start to see that debt increase to start to fuel some of those AI investments?
More recently, they did do. It's not the same. It dilutes shareholders a bit, yes. But let me pull it up real quick. But I don't know. If it's to accelerate growth, then fine, right? If it accelerates growth, this means you could maybe reach profitability faster and then repay that debt. Then why not? It makes sense. So more recently, they did this, right? They announced a private placement of $1 billion in aggregate principal amount of convertible notes, 500 million, 2%.
Very low rate. Amazing rate.
And it was at, where is it? The average price of the stock was, I think it was 49 or something like that, or maybe more. Let's see. Yeah, here. Conversion price of 51.45, which was at that time 40% higher than where we were. So very good. Of course, now we are higher, but doesn't matter. Back then, we were 40% below that. So that was good. I mean, things like this, I don't mind, and I wasn't surprised at all because the CEO said it numerous times, even in a podcast. He said, "Look, we are going to raise money as we want to expand more and more. We're going to do it in a smart way." So, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Good move.
Yeah.
You have a super chat here, and yet I see my name in it, but my name is not spelled like this. So I guess you can keep the money.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, we talked about this SMH. I forgot two streams ago, maybe.
I think we talk about it every week.
Yeah. So I appreciate the super chat. I'll buy Neil some stuff later on. He's nice to me. He's usually mean to me. Pokemon pack. Neil, I just kind of want to jump into this one real quick. Grundy123, good morning. Just getting here. GitLab earnings were no good or good buying opportunity. Grundy, we talked a little bit about this earlier on in the live stream. Kind of my thoughts. There were some risk. I think we talked about. Me personally, I'm still bullish in it. So I don't think it was a destruction of the business. I think the company just gave some warnings that might have scared some investors. But overall, I'm still overall bullish.
Wait, so did you answer the comment?
Wait, I thought it was more just, was there a comment?
I
It
think
was just love these lives. Neil's reasoning that SMH depends on Nvidia to move, so why not own Nvidia is on point. Converted SMH to Nvidia. My position is fully Nvidia, except SPMO, 12,000 shares of Nvidia. 7 years to read
12,000
that.
shares of Nvidia. Wow.
Because
We've got some whales here in the chat.
in the chat, I know.
We've got some whales in the chat, but I didn't take. Did I say this?
If I believe we look back at the thingies, I don't know.
Because I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But I think our point was always, if you want a basket, then you go with the basket of stocks, so SMH. But if you just want to track, then you
because I think we were comparing SMH to SOX. So I think we were saying if you want more dependency, if you wanted more dependency on Nvidia, we would go with SMH, and if you wanted more of a basket approach, we would go SOX.
White socks or red socks?
I don't know. Depends. Chip socks.
We have another whale here. We have 9,000 shares as well.
Very nice.
Any of you want to sponsor our streams in the future? Let us know. And by the way, for those that are coming in late, quick tip: if you don't want to watch the whole thing, that's also fine. If you want to learn about Nvidia or GitLab or whatever, you take the link of our stream, you plug it into Gemini, you do the @ symbol at YouTube, and you say, did they talk about GitLab? And it will tell you exactly when we talked about the GitLab.
Wait, what, Neil?
You didn't know this?
I did not know this. Let's see. All right, the stock show has just turned into a learning AI show.
So, for example, I'm here on Gemini. Yeah. Let me. So.
Oh, wow. That is actually pretty cool.
So I'm here on Gemini. So you see, I said at YouTube, plugged in the GTC link, summarize this, please, and timestamps for everything: AI revolution, the thinking machine, Grace Blackwell, AI factories, democratizing AI agentic. So for example, did he talk about quantum? Clearly he did. Here, path, quantum. This is the clip I've shown you before. And voila. This is how I don't waste time watching 3-hour keynotes or stream. And you can do this with everything.
That is amazing, Neil. Appreciate this.
Yeah. So you see, I'm a spokesperson for Google now. Hopefully they start paying for my Gemini Pro.
This is why Google stock is going up, because Couch is promoting Gemini everywhere he can. Martin, just for the fun of it, appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see.
I'll contact Google. Say, Sundar, have you seen what I do for you, my friend? Start pumping the stock now.
Yeah. I still gotta watch that that Lex podcast, Neil.
You know what you have to do now.
Yeah, now I don't know. I actually enjoy. Yeah. That one. Normal method. The pre-AI way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, unless it's like a podcast about everything and you just want to focus on one thing. The market is opening in only 20 minutes. Yeah, Elon backtracked.
Yeah, you saw that, right? I didn't see that. I saw that, but I just saw that.
He backtracks, but he did say some of the tweets.
Yeah.
Andrew CEO said yesterday that they're definitely going public. The problem here is, of course, that they're going to go public at a super high valuation, I'm afraid.
It seems like Trump tweeted again, Neil, or I don't truth it. I don't know what it's called. Adding to the China readout, President and I are going to work closely together to open up China to American trade. This would be a great win for both countries. So yeah, I mean, I guess some could say, does that mean chips?
I think so.
Neil, question: how do you feel about? I mean, I don't know if it's weird. I wouldn't mind the like watered down version to go there, but I don't know how it feel like the most advanced going there. Is that weird thing to think? Maybe you can buy your one Nvidia share.
Yeah. I don't know if $12 will do it, but you wait. You don't want you want the watered down.
Watered
down. Want the best?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I want the watered
not the
down.
best. No, okay, man. Of course, makes sense. It makes sense. Why would you, right?
Yeah.
Why would you send the best chips there to probably in the adversary category, adversary partner? It seems.
But yeah. Now it'd be interesting to see, right? Because we did hear reports that both AMD and Nvidia were working on one that would pass the export restrictions. But what if those kind of like, if you're like, they have to re-put it back and make it a little bit better? Because if there's these companies are spending a lot of R&D right now on all these, hey, we're cut off, we're cut in, we're cut off, we're cut in.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for this company, especially like Nvidia said, like it's a business that's basically a zero for them right now. A business where they spend billions and billions of dollars, and yet you're now at a zero.
Yeah,
not great.
I just want to say, talking about retirement, he owns a business that employs family members. I gave them a 7-year warning. I'm out at that point, so they have time to figure it out. I only go to office once a month, so it's easy. Nice. I love that. Is amazing to hear. Reminds me a little bit of my father-in-law. He had a business and kind of like, you know what, retired, and now it's just living the life, traveling all over the world.
That's a good life. Any good news on Google at Paris event? I don't even think they went. Maybe they do. I don't know. But so far, no. Zero. No news. Nancy Kirk saying China should just stay with DeepSeek. Well, newsflash, DeepSeek would not exist without Nvidia. So they could stay with DeepSeek, which again was a pretty big deal when it came out, but it would not exist without Nvidia.
Yeah, Neil. So, I mean, what do we have for today? Do you have? We just have that Oracle. Oracle, I think, is the only thing I'm waiting for.
Today, that's about it.
And let me just take a quick look at my calendar if there's any conferences happening today. Yesterday, we had 2 NVIDIA conferences that I completely forgot about. So I have to read through them. Actually, today we do have some stuff. So Qualcomm did have kind of like a NASDAQ summer conference today. Navitas is actually doing a conference today as well at around 10. So if you are bullish on Navitas, is that stock? I would expect that stock to be ripping right now, just because it is kind of like a small cap. Navitas,
a small cap rising on
just the bullish
PR
segment
releases
of the news. Yeah, up 6% after pre-market right now. So they do have an event at 10. Let's see, we have Oracle, UiPath, Neo. UiPath, Neo, you know, there's a few stocks that I wouldn't put money in as like a stocks, but I wouldn't mind buying like a long-term calls for it. Just because I think there is potential. Intel was one of them that we talked about, I think, yesterday. I don't know why. I think UiPath is another one, Neil, that I would put that where I wouldn't want to own shares just to, I wouldn't want to put capital on it, a lot of capital, but I wouldn't mind buying like some long dated calls on it. So
it's still at $13.
yeah, because AI agents I do see becoming more popular now. And it seems like they're moving in somewhat that direction right now. So we could see some potential growth there. So it's another one that's been very hated. And
3 years of nothing, huh?
yeah, exactly. But I think if they're AI, I think is creating different inflection points for different businesses, right? Like for the robotics market, the inflection point might come like 2-3 years from now. For regular chatbots, it's happening like right now. I think for the AI agentic space, it's happening within the next 12 months. And I think that inflection point could theoretically help a company like UiPath. But like I said, I wouldn't put full capital in it. I wouldn't mind playing it via options.
It's, I don't know, to me,
but again, you
7
just
billion.
mentioned that degenerate gambler of me.
No, at 7 billion in market cap, I don't know. It seems like a acquisition target.
Yeah.
Because even if we are like, of course, we are going to that stage of agentic AI agents everywhere. But my question will be like, why wouldn't another company, like for example, Salesforce has their own, right? For the Salesforce ecosystem, of course. But yeah, I don't know what advantage UiPath has right now at the moment, unless they get acquired, and then it's not their problem anymore. Aaron Martin saying Huawei's CEO talks their chips down regarding power, and so he also said they're one generation behind US chips. Didn't Nvidia say they are competition? They are competition. Being just one generation behind, despite all the restrictions over the last couple of years, is not bad at all. I'd say it's not bad at all. And at the pace of innovation in China, I'd say they're competition for sure, especially in China. Especially in China. I mean, remember Huawei previously was nothing, right? Huawei was nothing. It was only Apple, and look at how far Huawei has come in competing with Apple. You could say it's also because Apple stopped innovating, and okay, I would agree. But the Chinese know a thing or two, I guess, about moving fast.
I think there's some truth to what both players are saying. Right, I think Jensen is also smart enough to say that he makes it seem like there is competition elsewhere. So if it's like, hey, why do you have export restrictions on us? The chips out there are just as good. So I think that's one way he can be playing it. The other thing is Huawei's chips, while they might be one generation behind, I do believe there's some truth to that semi-analysis, and some other companies have done some analysis that like you can put all these Huawei chips together and kind of compete with like an Nvidia NVL72 with a lot more chips, but they have like this really good connectivity solution. The only thing outside of that is, though, you have a lot more chips. They're a lot more power hungry. So they are failing in the in kind of like the power efficiency, where it's like you can get the same performance for a lot less power with NVIDIA. But in China, Neil, reportedly, they have a lot of electricity infrastructure and capacity, where you don't have to worry too much of how efficient your power chip is. The only thing, though, is with your chip is not that efficient, you start to have massive heat ups in the product itself. So there have been some reports that Huawei has not seen too many sales because of overheating issues. So I think there's a little bit of truth, right? So it's somewhat competitive, but at the same time not competitive. Jensen is also making a sales game out of it, while Huawei might be trying to make it seem like, hey, look, we're not doing that well. So as a Chinese company, you need to make sure we continue to do well. So keep buying our products. Government keeps subsidizing us in China, so we can become a competition to this great American company. So I think there's a little bit of everything happening with what everybody's saying.
I agree. Quick question here about Salesforce. So let me put it up. Salesforce is, I think, I would say undervalued. Underappreciated, $256 billion in market cap, 42.6 trailing PE, but a forward one of just 23.4. Margin-wise, pretty good across the board. It's true that revenue did not grow fast, and it's not expected to grow that fast, although we could see an acceleration after the acquisition of yet another company for around $8 billion or so. That should help them, but EPS is growing a bit faster than that. They are seeing traction across the board, which we can actually see in their most recent conferences. We can look at the AI summary and see what they told us. So Data Cloud surpassing $1 billion ARR, 8,000 deals closed to date for Agentforce. And it's
Agentforce.
So
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a company that, of course, everybody knows. Yes, over the past 5 years, it has gone up 56%, so not as much as I'd say all the other AI players. But there was a period where margins were also down a little bit. Growth wasn't there much. But since then, it has, of course, rebounded quite nicely. Over the last 3 years, it's up a little bit more. And of course, since that bottom in 2022, it's up significantly. Year to date, it is down 18%. So you're not getting a company that I'd say is doing a bit better, maybe not a bit, but better today than it did at the start of the year, and you're paying 18-19% less for it. At the moment, they do a lot of acquisition, has always been the case, with Tableau, with MuleSoft, with Slack, which they overpaid by a lot, and now with Informatica. But I mean, if it didn't work out, I guess they wouldn't have been such a successful company. It's true that sometimes when you overpay, then in the short term, it hurts the stock's performance. But yeah, I still think they're a very good company out there, a very profitable one, which means that the more profitable they become, the more free cash flow, the more shares they can buy back. And so, yeah, I don't own it, but I think there's value to be found for Salesforce. And again, you can find all of this on FinChat. Our link for the stream is below, or it's floating now on screen right here. Super high tech stuff going on here.
Yeah, Neil, I mean, Salesforce has always, I mean, one thing that pushes me away from Salesforce is just the most of that revenue compounded annual growth rate that we see there is probably acquisition based. I do believe the opportunity is there for AI agents right now. This would be one of those companies that I think is mature in the software space. I mean, we look at those gross margins of 77%. I mean, it has a pretty nice, most likely, free cash flow available to it. Yeah, free cash flow there of 32.8%. So I would consider this kind of like those healthy, mature software plays that now has a potential tailwind of it, and that's the AI agent that we saw from that AI summary that's going to happen in materialize more in fiscal year of 2027. So it's a stock that if that doesn't materialize, if it does materialize, it could be very bullish for the overall stock. But if it doesn't, I don't think it would be a destruction of the stock, but the stock will most likely just underperform the market. So it's really dependent on the agent force or whatever they call it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, currently the expectations are for free cash flow to accelerate actually in the upcoming fiscal years, growing faster than revenue. So that's great. But yeah, like you said, in this age of AI, you would like them to actually show maybe an acceleration in growth. With, of course, with acquisition makes sense, but without it as well.
Yeah, give me one quick second, Neo. I need to step out super quickly.
No problemo. Market will open in 4 minutos. So we will watch the market open right now. Pre-market. Thank you. Yes, I am very, but it is like this. Neil Armstrong, the guy who went to the moon. Maybe I'll do a stream. I mean, imagine if we can do a streaming live from the moon in the future, or space. Wouldn't that be crazy? The second Neil in space. SMCI won't benefit much from Europe. You guys won't benefit much from Europe. I guess. Can you show the revenue distribution? I can show you the revenue distribution from Supermicro. Let's pull it up really quick. It's a NEIL, not Neil like seal, but Neil like, I don't know, Neil like Neil Armstrong. So distribution of revenue for SMCI looks like this. Of course, this is for the last 10 plus years, but we're only going to look at the last, let's do 5. Let's do 5 years. So comes at no surprise that the majority comes from the United States. This is for SMCI. United States, then we've got Asia revenue, and then Europe. Europe has actually grown at the compound annual growth rate of 33% over the last 5 years. Asia, 49%, and US, 51% growth CAGR. And then the other countries is that small part right here. So yeah, I'd say Europe is not that big of a chunk, but it is growing. It is growing for SMCI. Do I have any videos planned for today? Actually, I do not. Or at least not yet. Because too busy with some things here and then the streams. So we'll see. Maybe later tonight. Before I thought they were calling you Neo. Yeah, as in the Matrix. I know. Or John Wick. Same actor. So it's Neil like Guile. Well, Neil and Guile, I guess, are not the same pronunciation, but yes, NEIL, for sure. What website is this? This is on FinChat. Now I can show you my tech savviness again. We have a link. This is now a sponsor of a couple of our streams. FinChat, you can use our link, finchat.io/ whatever you're seeing here floating, or it would just be pinned in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Great partner of my channel, great partner of Jose's channel as well. Very useful, I'd say. Very useful. I used them before they sponsored me, and Jose is laughing. But no,
I was laughing because I was calling you Neo, like the Matrix, it seems.
Neo. But yeah, market is opening. Enough with this pronunciation madness. Maybe the next sponsor would be Duolingo, teaching us how to speak other languages. Do I speak German? No, I speak Dutch, which resembles German in some ways. But yeah, 9.
9 what? Neil, do you look at any EU markets for stocks?
I have my list of EU stocks that I follow. The Novo Nordisk, the ASML, of course, LVMH, Ferrari. Now, more recently, of course, some defense companies that have completely crushed the market. What else?
Did you say Novo Nordisk?
Yeah, they did a partnership with Nvidia this morning, I think.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. Lots of industrial companies, pharmaceutical companies, but it's less interesting for me. But yeah, the market is open at the moment.
We're so bad at English, Neo. E. James needs to go out and learn a new language right now. um,
This is a good one.
oh, sorry. Which one did you pick, Neil?
No, the comment that you just showed.
Yes, yes. And my joke that followed it, right? I think the joke made the comment better.
Yes.
Thank you, Neil. All right. What do we have? Is this updated right now, Neil? What do we have? Flat on the bags? Let me look at my trading view. Trading
Yeah.
view.
Seems like a flattish. Palantir is up 2.4, so we go even higher, $320 billion in market cap. Tesla is up, I guess, on Elon's somewhat apology comment. Plus, I guess yesterday also it was up because of that robotaxi video. But I don't know. He did say that they plan on launching June 22nd. So he's cutting it a bit close with the June announcement, and of course we're going to see some headlines if that doesn't happen. Of course, I think June 22nd he want to launch, and June 28th is when they want a Tesla to drive from the factory to the customer autonomously. Yeah.
All right, so it seems like the biggest movers that I'm looking at right now, Neo, are GitLab, obviously on the downside, 13% right now. The one that's surprising me, Neo, is Nvidia's up 12%, about to break. It just broke $9. This one's ripping. It is ripping like no tomorrow. Obviously, Nebius got some great news, but you know who's up.
The meme stocks are up.
Wait, do I not have Nebius? Yeah, Nebius is up a nice 0.2%. CoreWeave somehow up 3.6%. Yeah, it does seem like a nice meme movement at the moment. SoundHound is up 3%. I
Really still?
Yeah, I'm surprised that one is
It's still at
kicking.
$10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding that
Uber's up
200
about
in
1%, Neil. Uber, I think it's been slowly killing it. I like the slowly kill.
Slowly kill. That means we're going down.
All right, slowly alive.
Yeah, no.
Slowly live.
It did drop like in the last 2 weeks or so, but then slowly rebounding a little bit. What does Nvidia do today? Barely up on.
Very or barely?
Barely.
You got me excited.
Barely up 144.2.
We do got some red here. We have Intel's down about 2%. We have Arista Network down about 2%.
Every Intel pump is followed by a dump.
Yes.
Yeah, the quantum stocks are probably up. Yeah, Rigetti is up 9% today. What is it? INQ up only 3%. What is the beverage and drinking stuff? Qubit. This one up 13% because why not? This is crazy. The question here quickly. Siemens. Sorry. Siemens. Jensen talked about them today, actually. Talked about how their supercomputer or whatever, it's the oldest one in Europe or maybe in the world, something like that. Siemens. Not bad. Yeah, so it seems like today we are...
Yo, Martin. Nvidia's flat like a dead person. What if it was a big dead person? That dead person wouldn't be flat.
It would be bumpy.
But the heartbeat, never mind. All right, Neo.
Siemens Energy.
Wow. Come on. You can't even follow simple instructions, Neo. Look at that. Yeah, look at that.
It has indeed crushed the market.
This guy, my apologies, Martin. My co-host here, just can't follow simple instructions.
No. Since the bottom 2023, 10x.
Oh smokes!
Yeah, no, some. This has 10x. Rheinmetall 20x.
That is wild.
Look at this. Bing. Crazy.
Imagine.
Yeah, I should have bought this. Should have bought this late last year.
Waldo wants to look at Celsius. How's that one doing? Is that one still?
I think it's at 44 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
42. 40. I still have a small position, but I think I'll liquidate
Pretty soon.
today, or let's see.
Have you ever had a Celsius?
Drink? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am down 2.2% still, so might just take that 2.2% loss and increase the cash position in anticipation of a huge market crash. It's over. We're done. Fini. Everything goes down. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I will probably just increase the cash position if that happens.
Yeah, I'm drinking it right now. It's bad tasting.
Which one?
I don't know. Ask him or her.
What do you mean?
They're drinking a Celsius right now.
Who's drinking
We're
Celsius?
The comments. I'm Neo. No, I didn't say Neo. I said Neo.
I thought you said you are drinking one. I'm like, okay, which one?
Gosh. Micron has had a nice run, Neo.
Micron has had a nice run. Novo Nordisk has been doing quite well. 115. Hot damn.
This one's ripped, yo.
Yeah, it is overbought by a lot, actually. Right now on the daily. But we have 11 days until the earnings. Celsius. Arctic Vibe. What is this? Frozen.
It sounds good.
What is it? Frozen. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. I like the
Neo's computer savvy, not Jose savvy.
Yeah.
This
Mango passion fruit is a good one, I think. Yeah, Buffett increasing cash. The Buffetts, I mean, they are sleeping, swimming in cash, building houses with cash. I don't know what the heck they're doing.
Did I curse?
I don't know. This is family friendly here, no?
I don't know, but AG Jose, man, Chile with the language, Jay. With the language. I don't know. I don't know if I said something wrong. My apologies.
No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. United Health is pumping. It's up 0.8%. So I guess that's pumping enough for.
I would love. I will start
out more to see the pump.
I'm gonna start stock market service, and every time a stock goes up 0.5%, I'll be like, "Portfolio pumping, yo. What is yours doing?"
Yeah, I mean, there are some rumors that Buffett might be buying this stock, and that's why he does not want the public to know it yet, right? Because he has the SEC to keep it quiet, like the last one, like the Chubb insurance company that he bought when he didn't have to disclose it for a while. But
sounds like these guys just woke up. Man, we've been up for a while.
I mean, I woke up. It was 4 p.m. here, so I hope I woke up earlier than that. Selling Micron before earnings so you can buy the usual dip afterwards. No, I'm not.
It works until it doesn't work.
yeah, but I don't sell Micron. But I wouldn't be surprised if the market would sell Micron after after earnings. I don't know. I don't like these pumps before earnings because it's either the market knows something or the market is like
it's hoping for something.
Rug pull.
Yeah, like gotcha.
I guess this is rated R. What did you say actually then?
I don't know what I said. Go to. We got to go to Gemini. Say, Jose,
Yeah.
what did you
Go
say?
back to the transcript. You know, I don't know why I just wanted to check on Teladoc to see how far I have to zoom out to actually see the crash.
That's wild.
Look at this. It's crazy. This is how far I had to go. This thing was once at $300 and we're now sitting here flat like a dead Teladoc.
How to become a millionaire? Just be a billionaire and buy some Teladoc stocks.
I could buy the whole company now. Wait, it's worth, let's see. It's worth $1.3 billion. Do you know by how much they paid for Livongo?
20 something, I think.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Wow.
All right, Neil. I
Any
need to hop
hoots?
off. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to go.
I think we'll be on tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow, double.
Twice. Double
Double-decker.
whammy. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow will be live same time as usual, 8 a.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
and then we will be live for Lisa Su's keynote. I'll
around
start the
12-ish.
stream at 12, and it starts at 12:30
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And I'll probably be a little bit late depending how quickly my little one falls asleep. But I'm hoping for a easy nap time for him.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for joining. Apologies for the non-tech savvy co-host that we have here, plus the guy that apparently uses bad language. Thank you all. Check out FinChat below, link below in the description. I hope it's in the description. And we'll see each other in the